got me a headache. Oh no, I actually need that to refill. My ribs. Ah, man, my life sucks. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. What do you want now?
Hello,
Like, can't you see, like, God, Ronnie. There we go. Like, can't you see you've already done enough to me?
I want to play a game.
No, man, I'm tired of playing your games. I just want to heal up. I want to relax. And I don't want to watch any more scary movies, man. See, this damn bed just won't stay on, man. This is all your fault. much, much better. Okay, fine. I'll play your stupid game. What do you want?
If you answer correctly, I'll go away. It's that simple.
Okay.
Name the most underrated horror sequel.
Oh God! See, I can't even get excited, even though I know the answer. Okay. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, Leprechaun 4, Outer Space. Even though that's actually a pretty good movie, but The Next Generation, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jeepers Creepers Reborn. It's gonna be one of those, right? Right? Hello? Must have gotten it right. Ah, shit.
You little idiot.
This I do think was good. I think that was quite good, Brett, man. I really do. I think if there's one thing I would change about it, I think maybe we need more blood.
Blood?
I think more blood would be good at the end of the day. I think that would make people really happy.
I think blood always makes the world go around in horror movies.
It does. I think.
But I'm tired of fucking dying, asshole. And I'm tired of wearing wigs. That was exquisite. Yes, man, that skit turned out perfectly. I didn't die. I think Brad's going to be really pleased about this, man. Speaking of Brad, where is he? He should have already been here by now. Speaking of the devil. Dude, Brad, where are you, man?
This isn't Brad.
Oh, crap. Fuck Bruce Willis. And I'm tired of wearing wigs.
What is going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. We have the good reels so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. The Brett Man's right over there. It is time for our live interactive review for Scream 4. Can't believe we're already 4 weeks into this bad boy birdie, on the road to Scream 6 in just a couple weeks now. And
next week, actually.
Shit fire, man. I'm sorry, man. There's 2 movies left to talk about here. Scream 4 being one of them. And, man, it should be a fun time tonight, man. This movie's slightly divisive. It's a little divisive.
Yeah, it breaks me heart, man, just because I understand the hate for this movie, but after like a recent rewatch over the weekend, I still enjoy the hell out of this movie, and I'll explain why as we go through this movie. Especially, I love this one cameo appearance from a certain YouTuber in this movie, which we will get to that. So yeah, we'll freaking point that out and everything, man. Chad,
yeah,
do you read? Bottom left corner, sir. What does it say? What does it say?
Well, it's not live, but we did a hell of a good job of guessing that out on the premiere, man. We're doing pretty good. I'm just kidding. We're live as a mofo, man. Of course we're live,
we're
man.
Definitely live. Yeah, exactly. It literally says live interactive review. Like, man, Chad, we love you, dude. So, like, what's going on, Chad? What's going on, Chris? Is this real life? And since I'm already in that mode already, let me go ahead and say hello to everybody. Lamontre, what's going on? New decade, new rules. You damn right. Yo, Adrian, how you doing? You know, we're here to talk about Scream 4. We got
Ooh.
Gory Tiger. We got Matt Fauci. What's going on, man? Saying, I'm not a fan of this one. Can't stand the killers at all. Well, I'll defend one of the killers. Not necessarily I'll defend the other one, but I'll definitely defend one. And we got Russell. What's going on, Russell? Brother Fluff. What's going on, man? Wait, there's more than one killer in Scream movies? What the fuck? Dude, I know. Like, unfreaking believable, man. Like, I can't believe it either. Let's see here. Again, we say hello to Chris. And yep, that's it. That's who all we got right now. And apologies, we are once again doing this on the Monday. Brad had very important business to attend to this weekend, and I was just at home fucking sick as a dog. So we do apologize for that. We appreciate everyone for tuning in and to listen to us talk about Scream for tonight.
Yeah, we're excited about it, man. Going to be fun. Of course, it is interactive, of course, so be sure to hit that poll up. Give us your letter grade of how you feel about this movie. We're going to put a fan score together by the end of this bad boy. We got a poll that I've calculated from people online on the internets as well, and we'll get to that as well as always, man. But it should be a fun time tonight talking about Wes Craven's final Scream movie. And yeah, we're just gonna have a good time.
Or
with
just
it, man.
final movie in general, unfortunately. So
That's
R.I.P.
true.
Wes Craven.
Yes, R.I.P. Man.
So let's see here. Before we fully get into it, of course, once again, we got to thank our amazing real hunters. These are our Patreons of our channel. They are the official backbone of this channel. They make the channel run, man. You know, they tell us the rules and we have to follow them. Pretty much like they're pretty much our ghost faces in a way. So if you want to be a ghost face or a real hunter on our Patreon, the Patreon link is in the description down below. Click on it, select a tier. Any tier would be just fine. So you all can be a real hunter today and also be ready because we are going to be spicing up the Patreon perks here in a couple of days, or I would say maybe a week or two. So be on the lookout for that. We're trying to freaking spice things up again on the channel.
We're spicing it up, man. We got memberships coming out to give you guys a couple more options to join too. But of course, all that stuff's fine and dandy. But we just appreciate you guys being here. If you can't be a member, you can't be a Patreon, I should say. That's okay. Just being here, liking the video, sharing the content out helps a lot. Hitting that comment section, being here in the chat, all that stuff helps us as we try to hit our goals, if you will, and grow this community, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and freaking having fun, man. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and have some fun and go with the movie fact card here. So let me get my voice in. me. All right, here we go. Scream 4 was released on April the 15th of 2011. Deadgummit, 3 more days, it would have been my birthday, which I did saw this movie in theaters. This was my first Scream movie. IMDb is a 6.2 out of 10 and a 3.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, where most of the votes come in at a 3. The tomato meter, 60% by the critics, while 56% from the fans. That's disheartening. The budget, $40 million, and the domestic box office, ouch, $38 million. So thankfully, the global numbers helped this movie from it becoming a complete disaster of $97 million global. Director by Wes Craven, and of course, we know those 3 cast members. We love them, and you can also watch this movie right now on Netflix.
Bunch of bastards. You know what, man? With all that money, you think they could have got some better lighting, or maybe they got too much lighting. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know.
Dude, I'll talk about that, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about it some more, man. But yeah, all this stuff's good. I mean, obviously the numbers are a little bit low for this score, and the critic score and the audience score, both a little bit lower than most of the movies in this franchise, save for Scream 3. Yeah, they dropped some stacks on it. There weren't any explosions this time around, but there's definitely the freaking high budget here. So yeah, they did drop some money into this project, had a lot of faith in it, and man, it did kind of disappoint a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately it did. And then Holly, what's going on there, Holly? 4 is my second favorite in the franchise. Again, kind of like Brad alluded to earlier, this movie definitely has his diehard fans, while some like this movie also has his freaking like movies that want to like fans that want this movie to burn to the ground, which we need to like put out their flame, man.
Yeah, man, and I'll second what you said. This was the first Scream movie I saw in the theater as well. I don't think I saw Scream 3. If I did, I don't remember it. So I'm thinking this one. And it was a pleasant experience seeing these guys on the big screen. And just to kind of still see Nev still front and center, even though it was 10, 11 years later. So it was still cool to see.
Absolutely. So, Brad, you mentioned those Rotten Tomato, kind of like the scores. As per usual on this on these live interactive reviews, we picked out what we thought are the best fresh reviews and the most spoiled rotten reviews, and we need to hate on those people. But first, let's go ahead and go with the fresh one. Brad, I'll let you go first, and let me remove the banner so you can fully read your quote.
This guy is Michael Compton, man, from the Bowling Green Daily News. Combining the three constant players from the original trilogy with a new cast of fresh faces, this is a fun little flick that will surely entertain fans of the genre. And I second this, man. I think this movie, there's nothing wrong with this movie. It's a fine movie. It's totally entertaining. And that's really what it came down to, man. It's just, throwing these characters back at us again and having some fun.
Man, a fine movie with a fine, fresh review and a fine mustache, man. Dude, he's got the double mustache game going on, man. Some good for you, Michael. I'm proud of you.
Those hairs are going straight into his nose, man.
They really are, man. Man, I'm not even sure why I'm showing my fresh one. I can't freaking compete with that. Compete with Michael, but I'll give it. But we'll let Sarah Michelle Fetters have a chance for Movie Freak .com, and she is a top critic, so it has to mean something. She says they've taken the ideas of the first film and twisted them in on themselves using the technological advances of the last decade in society's celebrity obsessed culture to give the series an oh my god, I can't talk. Invigorating kick. Hopefully I said that right. If not, well, you know me. Fuck me, right?
Invigorating.
But I agree. Invigorating. Yeah, there we go. See, Brad's always got my back. So, but I definitely agree with Sarah, though. They did a great job. Like this Scream franchise had a 10-year, like 11-year absence. So what they did with it, like making fun of the technological advances and like the celebrity part of like this movie, they definitely knocked the jokes out of the park. So I absolutely agree with Sarah.
Shoot yeah, doggy.
Yeah, fucking A right, doggy, as Stifler says from American Pie. So, Brad, we got some freshness. Let's go ahead and deal with the rottens, man. So, go ahead and just destroy Amy here.
Well, Amy Curtis from We Got This Covered. The one thing you don't have covered is a good, clear photograph, but that's okay. She did say, now listen, though, I will honestly, I don't completely disagree with this statement. She says a weak plot. Yes, that's true. Half-assed performances, mostly true, and lacking any originality make this a lame and uninspiring film. And that's, I honestly don't disagree. It is fun. It's a decent film. It's a fine film. It's not bad. But I do kind of consider this movie uninspired, considered to when you compare it to the rest of the movies in the franchise. It does in a lot of ways seem like they made this movie just to make it. It didn't feel totally necessary, and to that point, I do kind of agree with what she has to say here. But again, like I said, I don't think it's a bad movie. It's fine. It's just it has some stiff competition in this franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Chris pretty much just said all I needed to say about Amy right there.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Am I wrong? So there we go. There's Amy. Roger Moore for the Tribune News Service. He says, fails at chills, stumbles as satire, tired, played out. What the fuck does that even mean, Roger? Like, come on, man. Like, this movie has this what we call his chill moments, man. So I don't even know what the hell you're smoking. And again, the biggest complaint we have with these rotten reviews, if you're going to put out a picture, don't put out a blurry picture, man. Like, don't do it. It just makes yourself look bad.
And if your name is Roger Moore, like Gory said here, make sure you're the cool one, okay? Because you're
man, Gory, you sly dog, you.
Yeah, you got to be you're always going to be second fiddle if you're Roger Moore and you're not the Roger Moore. So just get out of here with that.
Yeah, get this freaking ass out of here. So, man, before we even dive into freaking Scream 4 with from beginning to end, we want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Scream 4? Are you on the side that you support this movie and you really enjoyed this movie, or are you on this side over here where you just really despise this movie? You wish it burned in hell. Let us know in that comment section down below. So, without further ado, Brad, let's freaking get started with another classic Scream opening, which that's why I'll go ahead and say these Scream movies, again, 4 for 4 with with a great opening scene.
Yeah, man, they do it again with this one. It's very interesting. It's very intriguing. This thing has not one, not two, but three different openings, two of which are false. And I thought that was a really creative way of opening things up. And they all have a lot of good celebrity appearances, a lot of good cameos here that are pretty fun. You have the first one and it's like the skit. You have the first one that pops up and they're talking about like, Saw 4 and all that fun stuff. And like, just, kind of talking about modern horror movies at the time, which we kind of see that in all of the movies. It was cool to kind of see Saw get that represented because at the moment that was big, man. But nonetheless, we see the kind of normal Ghostface thing play out. Girl gets slayed. Cuts to the open. So that was basically this is the opening of Stab 7 playing out. We find out they've made 7 of these freaking Stab Sons of Bitch movies, and so they slay those girls. Cuts to another pair of girls. They get slayed, cuts to another pair of girls, and it was just a cool way of getting really meta and weird right from the opening get-go, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I can't even believe I was just looking back at it, like Kristen Bell, who plays Anna and Frozen, is the one freaking killing people, and we also have the girl that's mainly known oh man, what's the vampire show? Oh, True Blood, and then we get Lucy Hale from Pretty Little Liars. Man, it's just so great just to go back and just experience this all over again because they were so huge for their time in 2011, and then we get back to like just like in the world within the real world, like Twilight Zone shit. And then a girl goes upstairs, gives her other friend a call, joking around, being Ghostface. And then her friend freaking gets got, and she thinks this is all a joke. It's like, you don't have to Ghostface change your app on your phone. Isn't that right? And of course we get Roger Moore. Well, not thank gummit, Roger Moore.
What in the...
I fucking hate you, fake Roger Moore. Roger L. Jackson back once again playing Ghostface, intimidating as ever.
I'll say one thing about Roger L. Jackson in this thing is I thought this was some of the best voice work he done in a while. Really since the first movie probably. He had a lot of intimidating lines in this, and I thought he was written to. The dialogue he was throwing out there was always kind of dark and spooky. I liked it. But yeah, man, right off the bat, man, we could tell something's off with the lighting, like right from the opening get-go. It doesn't take long to realize that there's glares everywhere. It looks like everything's just really oversaturated with light. And it just has a weird, and I didn't really notice that until this most recent watch, Birdie, but it was
really
distracting throughout the whole. I haven't seen the movie in a while.
Wasn't it so bad? I just don't even explain like what they possibly did to like make it have that kind of weird effect. I guess that's where half of the budget went. To be honest with you, 20 million went into the freaking. Like, I'm not like, was it a camera issue? Was it a lighting issue? But dude, it's so noticeable, and it's actually like you kind of said it best. It was really distracting at times.
Yeah, everything's just kind of like, I don't know. It was weird. Now, the opening I thought here was good. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I will say, I think of all the openings in the franchise, is probably the weakest. I mean, I think it, not that it's bad, but when you compare it against Jenna Ortega and then Cotton getting slayed and the theater massacre, and obviously it's not going to touch the first one. I think it's the least effective of the bunch.
That's fair.
It just, because you don't really know any, like, these characters are so, two of them are completely fake characters in the Stab movies, and the third set, you don't spend enough time with them to care about them at all. So at the end of the day, I didn't find it as effective, but it is fun. It's entertaining, and you know what kind of tone you're getting right off the bat.
Yeah, and the other main problem I have, and we'll move on, is that the girl, like the blonde chick, goes freaking upstairs. Even though I do love the lines like, "This isn't funny." Well, it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy. It's a horror film, and you better start running. Like it's like you alluded to earlier, like Roger L. Jackson with some great lines in this movie, and he makes them really super intimidating. But when the girl freaking runs upstairs, like how is we go from like the second floor all the way to the garage?
That's a good question. I don't even remember. Oh, she goes back downstairs. When she gets stabbed.
When?
When she gets stabbed, they're actually going down the stairs, and it's like they haven't finished building that stairwell yet. It was all still like plywood and shit.
I guess so.
No, it was. Yeah, I remember it very distinctly in my mind because I was like, "Why haven't they finished these stairs yet?" But it's just, I guess they're remodeling their house. But yeah, they do go back down the stairs. Yeah, we cut through that. She dies. She gets slayed. We're back to Woodsboro now, which is interesting because this actually, for some reason in my mind, I always feel like all these movies are always in Woodsboro, but this is actually the first time we're back there since the first movie, Birdie. And Sid comes back. She's kind of like famous now. She's writing books and shit. She's coming back into town. She's actually living out of town, but she comes back to do some book signing and some promotional stuff and thing. She's got this big book release coming out.
Yeah, of all the times to come back too, it's the anniversary of the Woodsboro murders, man. Like, like perfect timing. How convenient.
It's just not wise to do these kinds of things, man. But they keep finding themselves in these situations. We get introduced again to Dewey and Gail. They're still together. They're still together. They're still married. They're still hanging out. They're having a good time, sort of. Gail, we find out later, as she's kind of moved on, or she's not moved on. She's quit doing her journalism stuff because she decided to stay in town with Dewey, which we'll kind of see how that pays. Yeah, man. She's trying to write fiction now. She's not doing a very good job. She can't write that shit. It's not what her forte is, which we'll see. It all makes sense later too when we get to Scream 5 too, which I thought that was interesting. This is the first time seeing this movie since watching Scream 5, so you can kind of see those issues brewing here between her and Dewey because of that, and how they end up separating before 5. It makes sense, although it is sad. But nonetheless, we see them. They're together, and we get introduced to a couple new characters, Birdie, and I know you like these guys a lot.
Yeah, freaking can I say it? Kirby, man, this character has legit saved me in so many ways. Like, I will just watch Scream 4 just for this character alone of Kirby Reed. Dadgummit, ain't she freaking beautiful, man? She's just so damn beautiful. And who else do we get along to pair with Kirby? We get Jill Roberts, played by Emma Roberts, man. And I really was impressed with her work in this movie too. I know a lot of people have a problem with Jill, but I think Jill is possibly, in my opinion, the most underrated Ghostface in the franchise.
I don't know about that, but I will say this. I think that she's actually freaking awesome in this movie. She's a standout, and she gets overshadowed a lot by Kirby, which I don't think makes any sense because I go back with what Chad said back here. He said, by the way,
God, fuck Chad.
It is the dumbest thing ever to think that Kirby's dumbass would grow up to be a freaking FBI agent. Fuck off. And that's what I'm saying.
There's a reason.
Man. I think that she's so stupid in this whole movie. And it starts the very first time we see her. She flies past Dewey, who's the sheriff of the town. And she goes by. This is when we get introduced to her character. She's going like 90 on this freaking neighborhood street. And she's like, oh, fuck, I didn't see the fucking sheriff and his car sitting there in the middle of the road.
Brad, they should take up on the Haddonfield freaking like neighborhood speed limits. Yeah, like
yes, dude.
So, yeah, those I want to get two hellos real quick. So yeah, two hellos real quick. Rosie, my dear, is in the chat. Here's your rose. And I also saw Ashton in the chat earlier too. What's going on there, Ashton? And Holly, yes. What's your favorite scary movie? Bambi. Love Kirby and I love Jill. Yeah, like that's where you kind of tell off the bat you knew exactly what character Kirby is. Kirby is this whole bit. What Scream 4 is pretty much mainly about is them making fun of what we call the remake. And so they're making fun of remakes in the horror genre. And man, what better way for a remake for Scream for making a reincarnation of Randy Meeks with Kirby Reed?
Yeah, dude. And you know what, though? But then after that, after she speeds past Dewey, she runs a stop sign, almost kills the whole group of people before this movie gets rolling. She's not wise and she's not safe. She never would have passed the driving test to get into the FBI. Let's just cut it to the chase. But she's not good at all that. She's not driving. And you know what? I got to say this, man. I know this is going to piss some people off, including you, Birdie. I went through this thing. Again, it's been a while since I've seen this movie. Everybody loves Kirby. I get it. She's entertaining. I was really looking forward to her just blowing me away this time through. And I thought, again, she wasn't that great. I think she's by far the best character in this movie, but that's not saying a lot because I don't think any of these characters in this movie are any good. I don't think so. She definitely stands out. She's a fan favorite in this movie. I can see that. But when you compare her to the rest of the characters in the franchise, there's no comparison. She's not that great. And I strongly believe that. But again, she's good. She's fun. She's solid. When you compare her to these characters, and I can see why people in this movie like her, but in general, if I were to do a tier ranking of all the characters from Scream, she wouldn't be in the top by far. She wouldn't be near the top.
Well, I know what to expect from you in 2 weeks, but you know what? I am not appearing my face again until you take back everything you just said about my girl Kirby.
I ain't doing it.
And just by the way, when I mention Kirby, I'm not talking about that pink son of a bitch in Nintendo. I'm talking about actual Hayden Kirby. So don't get those twisted, okay? So yeah, and I'm seeing a bunch of Kirby hate in the chat from freaking Matt and Chad. So like, Brad, what have you done? Like, screw this. I'm not putting my face on anymore until I see some Kirby love in the chat. Yeah,
Well,
thank
why
you.
don't
Okay, you know what? Holly saved me.
bring your face on here and tell me what's so
She
good
was a
about her? Because
teenager.
I can't find any. It's not that. It's not just the dumb decisions like that. I can look past. She's just there's nothing that great. Like she does. Even later. She's. We'll get to the later stuff later.
Yeah,
There's more Kirby coming.
let's just
There's
continue
more
on.
Kirby
I'll
coming.
defend Kirby later. Like I need to get more into this movie before I can really defend her, man. So we're freaking at the freaking school, man. Well, actually, no, let's not go to the school just yet. Let's go to the book signing. Just because that's kind of like where most of everything kicks off. We get introduced to freaking Deputy Hicks, Judy Hicks, and her fucking lemon squares, man.
Oh yeah, man. She's trying to give lemon squares to Dewey. She's not having anything to do with it. Not because he's worried about cheating on his wife, but because he's worried about cheating on his diet.
On my diet. It's just that Dewey charm, man. In fact, we've been missing for 11 years at that time.
Yeah, I love Dewey, man. He was a standout in this movie as well. And I actually I don't really like what they did with Gail's character in this movie. I thought she was kind of yeah, right. It's not that I don't like her. I just think she's overrated. She's a good character. She's the best one in this movie, but I don't think she's that great when compared to a lot of other characters.
And Aaron Click, what's going on? He brings up a good point real quick. Kirby has charisma, but she doesn't have much to do. But I'll be like to defend that is because like they didn't expect her to be such a big character as she shines throughout the movie. So I bet you if they knew that, like they had to do re-screen 4 over in some parts, they would have definitely given her a lot more to do.
Yeah, and maybe if she had more to do, she would have been better. But watching this now, it's just like, man, she doesn't even do anything except for almost kill her whole group of friends and whatever. But anyway, beside the point, they do the book signing thing and all that fun stuff. Dewey shows up at the signing, right? He shows up there. They traced a phone from the murders last night to a car out in the parking lot. Come to find out, this is actually Birdie. This is Sydney's car, her rental that she brought into town. And what's in the back in the trunk is a murder weapon and a cell phone that they traced from the murder scene. So that was pretty intense, man.
Dude, man, like, it's freaking Ben Willis in town, man. Like, how the hell does, like, all of a sudden, like, freaking trunks of cars are filled with, like, she sales and bloody books and a murder weapon and a cell phone, man? Like, Ben Willis has to be behind this dang gumming.
Yeah, hell he does. And so does fucking Doofy. But, that's beside the point, too. He's... but yeah, here's what I'm saying. I don't really like what they did with Gail's character because I actually think that Gail, out of all the legacy characters in this movie, I think she brings the most energy. Dewey does too. He brings a lot of energy, but she's really here. She's giving it her role in her performance. He's really bringing Gail back, and I feel like they pretty much, reduced her to nearly a side character. She wasn't really doing anything. Right. She wasn't really ever, she wasn't really ever like they made her kind of like. I don't know. Gail didn't get any respect in this movie, man. And it starts right here at this point when she's trying to help. And even Dewey's like, nah, dude, you can't help. Even though they were teaming up all this time along.
Even Judy was freaking cock blocking Gail Weather or Gail Riley. See, that's going to be hard to say is Gail Riley in this movie. But if I say Gail Weathers, my apologies on that. But yeah, Brad, I absolutely agree. Gail, like, I'm not the biggest Gail fan to begin with, but I respect her character and what she's done in this franchise. But you're absolutely right just thinking about it. She got disrespected way too much. And Dewey, to me, I think he got held down the most in this movie with the sheriff title. I feel like he could have easily, like, I know, like, someone, like, you kind of say, like, Kirby could have done a lot more in this movie, or somebody in the chat said that, but, like, Dewey, I thought should have done more in this movie.
Yeah, he could have for sure, man, because he was always just kind of the one. He's basically just the cop character again
playing
from the first movie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, rocking all that out and stuff, and I don't know, man. I just he provided a lot of good moments at the end of the day. He was decent, but I just I wish that was cool. Anyway, we go back to Jill's place. It's nighttime, right? This is after everything's kind of gone down. The town's kind of starting to lock down again and stuff like that. Jill's freaking out. Her family's freaking out. Sydney's staying at her place because they're related. That's their cousin. That's that's her cousin Jill. Freaking Trevor's ass shows up, and this guy's just right off the gate, out the gate. A creepy, red herring kind of like possibly killer dude, but he also kind of sucks as a character, and he never gets better. I mean, he showed up at school earlier. He's like the ex-boyfriend of Jill and stuff.
Oh my
And
god. Can we just say the ultimate obvious red herring in the history of horror movies ever? But again, if there's a movie to pull this off, it's definitely a Scream movie.
there is, man. That's the only reason they put him in this movie. Outside of that, he was kind of worthless. He wasn't entertaining. There wasn't really anything that enjoyable about him, other than seeing his dick get shot off later. But we'll get to that.
Freaking 21 Jump Street. Yeah, shot me in the dick. But all right,
cool.
two quick shout outs real quick. Atanis, what's going on? Saying Scream 4 is my favorite in the franchise. And our buddy freaking Kyle from Returning to Living Fled. And just know, in the description down below, we got his link for his review of Scream 4 as he's doing it along with us too. So be sure to check him out after you hang out with us. And Chris Snyder, same thing with his Letterboxd reviews. And plus, I definitely wanted to say this because this is definitely a missed opportunity. When Gail tells Sydney, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, like talking about the whole book signing, Sydney should have responded with, I'll send you a copy. And then they both smile at each other. Opportunity miss. Dadgummit, Chris.
Bam, bitch went down.
You know what? And Chris should have been more involved in this movie too, in my opinion.
I agree, man. Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Should have Chris, come on, man. Tell the people.
Yeah, Chris, tell everybody in the chat what we mean by that and your what we call cameo role in freaking Scream 4, man. So be sure to give him a good story.
Yeah, dude. Please do, man. And you know what? So we're at Jill's place. We get the first kind of real moment of dialogue between Jill and Sydney here. Really kind of getting to talk. They're kind of fleshing out their their relationship, which I thought was kind of cool, tender moment between the two of them because, they set up earlier that they don't really know each other all that well. So this is kind of them kind of playing out. Sydney, obviously with Trevor being in the room and all that stuff, sees herself within Jill for a lot of reasons. And, she can kind of express that to her. Judy's ass was creeping out in the hallway during all this, though. Sydney goes back out and Judy's out there in the freaking dark, man, just sitting there like stalking Sydney, like, hello, you remember me from high school? We were in band together, they talked about some drama class.
They were in homeroom.
Yeah, and she played a wasp in a drama class or something too. I can't remember. I don't know. It was really weird.
So stupid, man. And plus, again, we go back with the damn lighting again. Like the lighting is so damn noticeable. Like to me, this was one of the few things that it was really distracting.
Yeah, dude, it was, man. It really was. And this is also when Olivia shows up, and it's like when her headlights pop up and stuff. You can see it's all fleshed out. But Olivia does show up. That's the next door neighbor, the friend that was in the car with them earlier. And she's like, she's talking to Jill on the phone. And she said that they're all referring to Sydney as the angel of death at this point, because wherever she goes, death follows and stuff. And I thought that was kind of a cool way of describing her character. But basically, she's talking to Jill. She said, the angel of death leave yet? And she's like, nah, she's still up here. He's like, well, I'm not going up there. I'm going next door. I'm going to my own house. I'm not fucking around with that shit. I'm not going to fuck around or find out tonight.
Yeah, and then even though I'll be honest with you, Olivia was obviously missing out because freaking Kirby and Jill were watching Shaun of the Dead at this point, which very good comedy horror movie. I highly suggest that movie of Shaun of the Dead. So they were watching that and they were wanting to prank Olivia, and then freaking Trevor gives Jill a call again, and Kirby decides to take the call, but it's not Trevor, my friend. It's Mr. Ghostface himself.
He is, man. He's spitting all kinds of stuff. He said, hey, check in the closet door. I'm in there and all that. And she says
I'm not fucking Trevor.
I'm not Trevor.
Oh, dude. And I realized something about that scene, too. And first off, what's going on, Mail and Jamie? I saw you in the chat earlier. What's going on? I was wondering why Ghostface was whispering during that particular scene. It sounded like he was whispering, but it obviously makes sense now since he was in Olivia's freaking closet. And so he had to be quiet there, not give away his position.
And I always thought that was kind of creepy the way he's whispering, because you can tell he is trying to be quiet. So that kind of makes you as the viewer wonder, like, where exactly is this guy? That's something they don't do enough, because a lot of times they're talking in their full voice and they might be right behind a door where another character's at. We see that in Scream 5 in the hospital sequence and a few other times. And it's like, they would probably hear this dude talking. He's right over there. So I like that he was actually whispering to try to stay quiet. I thought that was cool. But he's like, hey, check the closet door. And they go and they open a closet in their room, the Shaun of the Dead room. And there's no Ghostface. He said, you're a fucking loser. You're not in there. And she's like, I didn't say I was in your closet. Dude, this dude bust out of freaking Olivia's closet across the hallway, in the house across the street. and just freaking slays her ass. This is almost freaking Art the Clown style. This is one of the most brutal kills in the franchise, the bloodiest anyway. Like, it's just stabbing, but it's done very viciously, man.
Yeah, but did you recognize too that unfortunately Scream 5 took a play out of Scream 4's playbook with the freaking stab in the hand? Did you recognize realize that?
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I was so
disappointed.
disappointed. I was like, son of a bitch. But I try to ignore it. But yeah, Brad, you're right, though. This was definitely actually one of the most brutal kills in the entire franchise. But again, we're going back to another problem I had with this movie to go with the lighting. And lighting might actually be a cause of this particular problem I have. Why was the blood so damn dark? Like, I know, like, Saw 7, we had the cotton candy blood, but this one was like freaking like dark Hershey chocolate like blood. Like, I have no idea what they were doing with this decision.
Looks like that chocolate used in that Scream 2 skit, dude. That's
Dude,
exactly
our freaking chocolate blood looked a lot better than that. Like, no, I'm kidding. No, that was a terrible. Okay, is that what it was, Chris? Was it a filter? But dude, yeah, that filter was not very good.
Yeah, it wasn't, man. But what I do like about this is Sid. Obviously, she comes in, she sees this girl getting slayed across. Dude, he throws her through the window and everything, like hangs her out there for like it was a brutal kill. It was really really well done. Aside from the look of
And
it,
her intestines come out and everything.
shit, yeah, dude. Sydney goes across the street to try to save her ass, even though it's too late because she first goes out to get the cops, but they're not there, and then so she's like, "Fuck it, mano y mano with Ghostface again. I can do this. I'm a freaking badass." She goes in there. Ghostface is gone, but she gets this call on the phone. And this is, again, earlier talking about some of the dialogue and stuff that Roger L. Jackson's talking about. I thought it was really good. This whole moment where she's throwing some animosity towards Sid for doing so well financially off of all these murders and things like that. And just, basically, I thought it was a cool little storyline, a cool thread, a cool motive, if you will. It didn't really get played out that much beyond this one phone call, but it was a good first time that they talked on the phone. And then Jill shows up right after. She ends up getting sliced in the arm because Ghostface was actually still in the house and pops up. And then she does actually have a nice little Duke session with Ghostface there. And Jill gets mad at her for it.
Yeah, because like she say you're the angel to death. She has to be, or she's right. Which in a way, Sydney in a kind of a sad way is the angel of death. And then no wonder all this shit happening. Do you know, like, even recognize who our freaking officers are? Our freaking I was about to say Anthony Perkins, Anthony Anderson, and Adam Brody, man. Like, no wonder shit doesn't get done in the freaking town of Woodsboro.
Yeah, dude. For real, man. They were having a good time, but they weren't doing a lot of patrolling out there. They weren't doing a lot of protecting. But I like their characters overall. But they do go to the hospital, man.
Sorry, real quick. Sebastian is in our freaking live stream for the first time ever. What's going on, Sebastian? Everybody makes Sebastian feel welcome. And also, sorry, your first timer, Yasmin, what's going on? Just saying, Billy Loomis. So thank you, and make sure everybody make Yasmin and Sebastian feel welcome to Good Real Hunting.
Billy's mother. Yes,
Billy.
welcome, and thank you for being here. Yeah, so they go to the hospital, man. Gail meets Rory Culkin for the first time here, and that other dude, the random guy, which I couldn't stand his character. Really, neither one were that great.
That
Culkin
was the
okay.
Randy Meeks wannabe, which I was not sold on at all in this movie.
Yeah, he was running around with that stupid ass camera on his head the whole time. Like, he just wasn't very good. And again, even Gail can't get any respect from these guys, and that's how far down the totem pole she's fallen. She's all like just trying to get some information from them. Like, nah, dude, we want to hang out with Sydney, man. You suck, and all that stuff. Like, nobody likes Booster. Get out of here. But yeah, Sid's there, and they're here because Jill got sliced. Sid's here. Her publisher's pumped up. Her book publisher, who met one time prior to this, is all jacked because, the murders are happening again. They're going to sell some books. They want her to sign up for 3 more books. And Gail's like, nah, dude, we ain't doing books anymore. She goes out and gets slayed. This goes on. The publisher goes and gets slayed in the parking lot. And this whole thing was like just 15 minutes of unneeded, anything, because nobody cares about the stupid publisher. The kill wasn't that great. There wasn't anything that fun about it. So really, it's just here to pad the runtime, give Ghostface another kill. And it's kind of like that candy kill from Scream 3. I just didn't care about it. It didn't need to be here.
Yeah, but like at the same time, though, you gotta sell the fact that this Ghostface is definitely dangerous, and plus, I like me a
We
good
just
like
saw him
garage
rip out
scene.
intestines from the last girl. He's pretty
Yeah,
damn dangerous.
I know, but like, but still, man, like, she's like anyone around. You gotta remember something from Scream 3. Everyone that hangs around Sydney dies, even her freaking book publisher, and we have to establish that. We have to keep that trend going. But plus, I will say, I did like when Ghostface says, "It doesn't sound like you're in the hospital there. It sounds like you're in the garage." But you know what? I'll be glad to put you in the hospital. In the
In the
morgue.
morgue. I will say
I
that's
for
the
some
one
reason
good.
I'm a sucker for that particular line. I know a lot of people don't like it and they think it's too cringe.
I think it actually. Well, I will say that's the one good thing about all this was again that dialogue from Audrey L. Jackson. I like that line too. I thought that was good, and whatnot. I just thought that whole scene it was way too long, way too much
It was
runtime for a
too
character
long, I agree.
we don't even know. We got less time in the kill with Olivia, who's one of the main girls of the friendship, and her kill is way more meaningful. It mattered. This one doesn't matter at all. We don't care. We actually don't even like this girl. She just fucking got into this whole thing with Sydney. Like she's very irrelevant, and it went on way too long, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But then they go back to the cinema club the next day, and I thought that was
Oh,
cool
sorry,
because we
real
see.
quickly. Sorry, real quickly. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I just didn't want to lose this fact. Dewey is hosting kind of like one of those presser things, and that's where freaking Gail decides to become a reporter just to see her and Dewey interact. And Dewey's like, you know what? Everything is okay. And then that's when the publisher, her ass gets freaking tossed from the top of the garage. And let me ask you a question: how in the hell does Anthony Anderson and Adam Brody get up there so damn quick? Like, do you know how fast they had to be freaking running to get up to that top floor of the garage?
They're faster than you are,
Oh my god!
and
And
me,
plus, have
and
Dewey
everybody else.
also checks her pulse too after she fell. Obviously, she dies. There's Dewey going, she didn't make it. Like, oh my god, it's just ridiculous, man. I always put it just makes me freaking chuckle. Just like Brooke here. Brooke, what's going on? How are you doing?
Yeah, dude. Hello, Brooke, and welcome. And I saw, Aaron, you made it. I mean, it's a decent point. Earlier you said you got to show Ghostface is getting closer to Sydney. I agree, but only if this was before the scene that just preceded this, because we already saw that Ghostface is close. He literally just killed
Mm.
her cousin's best friend across the street and came face to face with her. So like all that just happened, and now we're reverting back to killing off side characters. Those kills need to come first, and then we kill some of the major characters. Then we get that first face to face. It just felt all a little out of place at this point in the movie. I thought it was too late to do that. But then yeah, so we go to the. I'm gonna get a little caught up here. They go to the film club the next day, and the cool thing here is that there was a Rob Zombie Halloween 2 poster in there, which I thought was cool because it's probably the only movie in history to have that in a movie.
Dude, I love looking at all the posters. Every time like we get to that scene, I always look at the posters and try to identify as many as I can. And the reason this scene is important because again, the fake or the wannabe Randy was pretty much just giving us kind of like the whole hash of like pretty much doing Randy's job. What he did in 1 through 3 is explain the particular Scream movie pretty much. Like in the first one, it's the original. Second one, he explained the sequel. Third one, he explained the trilogy. This fake ass Randy was explaining the rules of a remake. That's pretty much all this scene was important to do, and it accomplished that. But again, I just don't like fake ass Randy.
I don't either, man. But that was a cool setup for the remake thing, and finding out that this story is running parallel to the first movie, and how it's all going to cap off in that party again, basically like how the first movie ended off. So that was cool, and they're talking about the Stabathon that's getting set up, where they're going to go to this barn and watch all the Stab movies back to back to back all night, which sounds like a fucking good time if you ask me, especially whenever you have the added intensity of a Ghostface killer out there slaying fools. I think that sounds intense and fun and a really good way to spend a Friday night. As long as you're not one of the people in the main core group of characters, you should be safe enough. But again, dude, Gail gets no respect. She's the one. She's here. She's bringing more energy. She's trying to get involved. Nobody wants her to be involved in any of this. This happens again here. But yes, then they go back later that night. They go back to Jill's house. We get another nice moment of them, hanging out. Jill and Sydney kind of getting some more bond time. Exactly, man. And meanwhile, while that's going on, Gail's over at Stabathon's going on. Gail's over there setting up cameras and shit over there. Because she's rogue. She's rogue, dude. She's trying to set up the cameras.
Sorry, I'm doing her little awkward ass dance at the party.
When she flips off the all that
Yeah.
again, all that was great, dude. That was fantastic.
Oh,
She's
dude,
wearing
it
the
was so
Ghostface mask.
fantastic. And sorry to go back to the whole Jill and Sydney bonding. It like really hit me this time. I was really listening to the dialogue of Jill asking how Sydney deals with fame and all of that. Which guess what? That played into the freaking factor later. That was the definite moment of me saying, "Oh shit, that she's a killer."
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know if I didn't obviously it's not something I saw the first time, but when you go back on rewatch and you see that,
It's definitely there.
Yeah, it's definitely apparent that she's kind of got that in her mind and whatnot.
Yeah, so and then while that's going on, the freaking officers are outside having some kind of argument about freaking Bruce Willis, which to me was all random as hell. And then Anthony Anderson was playing a prank on Adam, and then that's when freaking Ghostface freaking comes out of nowhere, kills Adam very damn quickly, and freaking stabs Anthony right in the freaking middle forehead. You know, kind of like the blue I took at the early part or at the late part of the skit. And then, man, okay, I'm gonna have to ask you, man. Did you enjoy the fuck Bruce Willis line? To me, that was cringe.
I no, I didn't think that was that big of a deal. You know, obviously they were just talking. So to me, this is always just kind of the way that this is presented is that he just took some serious brain damage with this knife to the head. So it's in a way, it's kind of fucked up. He gets up and he's trying to swing at Ghostface, who's nowhere near him, and he says that line because it's something they were just talking to, something that was just in his mind was Bruce Willis, and that's basically his dying thought, which because he took that knife to the brain is just the one thing he can get out. So I always kind of thought it was kind of fucked up. But I could see it being goofy too. It's just kind of how you see it. To me though, I always kind of took it that way where it's, he's literally dying and that's the only thing he can say.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I never really thought of it that way before. So that's actually a really damn good point.
Yeah, that's just how I feel. And then, it kind of bounces back with Gail's. All of her cameras are getting fucked with from the other Ghostface over there at the party. The Ghostface is moving them all around and stuff. So she goes back in to fix them. She tells Dewey this, and she goes in there to fix all the cameras up and shit. She ends up taking a knife to the shoulder whilst in there, which plays an important role later. Gets hit in the shoulder. Dewey shoots, I don't know how many rounds at this dude and completely misses. Just like this is basically Birdie in our last skit, the Scream 3 skit, when he comes face to face with Ghostface. Misses all the shots. Ghostface gets away, man. And that's kind of where the two worlds kind of meet up a little bit at that point, man. The two different sides of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go back to the Roberts residence where Sydney is just, hanging out and all that. She gets a phone call from Ghostface. Ghostface tells her to turn on the news and see where freaking Gail got stabbed and all that. And then that's when Ghostface tries to make another attack. But before that, Jill's mother, to me, that's a complete waste of a character. Like, she had no purpose of being in this movie, just to be there, or just to be what we call another victim. And then even though I will admit, her getting killed, the knife through the little mail little pouch, whatever you call that damn thing where you put the mailing and your dog gets in and rips up all your mail. Just to have the knife freaking, I will admit that was pretty creative. Even though, again, so stupid. I wish her name was Rose. You're so stupid, Rose.
So stupid, Rose. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that because it wasn't the knife going through the door, which is always kind of questionable if that's actually going to work or not. It actually just goes through the mail slot, and she just happens to be there. Wasn't a good spot for her to be, but she got slayed. And yeah, man, at that point, Sydney had to go. I got to see this comment here. This was kind of funny. I thought Chris Snyder said, and Kirby, I can buy as an FBI agent because the first thing she said to Jill is, before you get in the car, you got to promise not to kill me. She already knew. She's a good detective.
And that's why she that's why she told freaking Charlie to let her live.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Third act time. So let's freaking get to it. After Sabathon was a complete shit show, we go to freaking Kirby Reed's house.
We do, man. She's there. Trevor's there. Charlie's there.
Who invited Trevor?
Nobody invited you, Trevor.
Yes, talk
Um,
about freaking a cop block, man. Freaking Trevor's the ultimate cop block, man, because Charlie was about to freaking get some with Kirby, which I didn't want Kirby to get with him anyway, because she should be getting with someone like me. But you know
and
what? I blame the
why
alcohol. I blame the alcohol.
would Kirby be getting with anybody like Charlie? Is the next question, dude. That's the question that everybody in here's got to ask themselves. Um, the
He's a
dude was
movie
kind of
nerd.
weird.
She's a movie nerd. Like, freaking movie
Well,
nerds get together, man.
he was beyond a movie nerd. He was just weird, man. You
Plus,
could
he
tell
is a
this guy was a
Culkin.
killer. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you could tell he was a killer the first time you saw him. I mean, he was
Well, dude,
definitely
yeah.
fucking. He had those vibes. Maybe that's what she liked about him. But Gunnar Hansen gets some love, which is kind of cool. I like that. But this was when it became evidently clear to me that we're in the third act now, and I give absolutely zero shits for any one of these characters except for Kirby. I did again. She was the one that stood out. She was good in comparison.
Yeah, because she gets that freaking stand down scene we're about to talk about here in a few minutes.
And you know, she was good here. She was fine. I didn't like Charlie. Trevor again is worthless. Again, I do kind of out. Jill, I think, is good too. I think she's very solid. Chad. Okay, fine. You can put it that way too. I could see that. So yeah, so that was cool, man. And we can kind of get to your favorite part about Kirby. If you'd like.
But before that, Sydney gets to the house and all that, and that's when fake ass Randy walks up to the door all bloody because he freaking got. Even though I didn't even though just the part that was stupid about his whole kill scene too. It's like, wait a minute, I'm gay. Does that do anything? Like, okay, I'll admit that was a little bit funny, just because they referenced it earlier. But yeah, he dies. Ghostface freaking runs in the house, and Sydney tells Jill to hide underneath the bed. Because again, I think we're protecting one of our final girls in this movie, so I'm liking that move. And then that's when Sydney freaking escapes the house, was able to get a call off on Dewey. So Dewey and the police force were all headed to Kirby's house. And then that's when Sydney runs into Kirby. They all go downstairs, and Charlie is freaking all bloody, just like pounding on the door, like, let me in. And then that's when Sydney's like, Kirby, if you don't trust him, like, you just gotta go with your gut. Again, good detective gut instincts here. See, Kirby being an FBI agent makes sense here. So Kirby does not let Charlie in, and then we get a freaking game going on here.
2 points I'd like to bring up. First off, how would this ending played out if Kirby and Charlie did get it on? Because this whole thing started whenever he was cock-blocked by freaking Trevor, and he literally started crying about it and walked off like he was all mad and he's ready to kill some people. That's how the whole thing started. But second off, here's the second point I'd like to make, is that after this, right to where you just stopped, whenever Charlie's knocking on the back door, Kirby and Sid are in there, she doesn't open the door. It does this weird ass, like Ghostface shows up and hits Charlie's head on the door and stuff. And it really does this strange ass cut where it cuts to Dewey for like half a second, and he's driving. He's like, oh, he reminds me of fucking Danny Glover and Saw. He looked at it and
oh my god, dude! I just imagined, like, I know the screen went black, but you know the entire time, freaking Kirby and Sydney are watching Ghostface putting Charlie in the chair, duct taping his ass. Like, you know they're watching the entire time. Why couldn't we freaking just watch that?
Yeah, I don't know. And then it cuts back and he's already like in the chair and stuff, and he's got the duct tape and all that fun stuff. And then the scene plays off where Ghostface calls Kirby. And I know you like this scene. It's okay. It's another moment of Kirby just being dumb, because Ghostface is asking a question about, name whatever he said, fucking something. He doesn't even let him finish the question before she starts naming off all these movies. You should know, if you're actually the true Randy character and you're actually this into horror movies and you know horror movies, you know how important it is that you play these games by the rules. You've seen Saw, you've seen Saw 2, you've seen Saw 3, you've seen them all. You know you got to play by the rules. Why would you just start rambling off movies before the question even gets asked? It's ridiculous. I don't buy her character doing that at this point. It was entertaining to hear all these movies getting thrown out, but it doesn't make sense why she, of all people, would fall for this and not play this question by the rules.
You know, I'll give that to you. It doesn't make sense because you do have to listen to the details of the question. I'm looking at you, Casey Baker, Drew Barrymore. You have to listen to the detail of the question. But I forgive all of that for the main reason this was the scene that is one of the top scenes throughout the Scream franchise, and this is why people wanted Kirby to come back. Was this scene? This was the show-stealing scene in the entire movie that solidified people loving Kirby.
Yeah, it does. And again, it is fun seeing
But you
her
gotta
watch
admit,
all.
that's impressive of Hayden trying to memorize all those freaking movies and to deliver it.
That was cool. It was cool seeing all that. It was cool seeing all that, but it just wasn't clutch on her part. For a character that should be clutch and should be on top of her game and should know the motivations of Ghostface, she should know everything about it. It's just not a clutch move from a clutch character, not keeping cool under pressure and all that stuff. And I did, yeah, and yeah, Chris, I saw earlier. You said that's freaking Daniel Matthews from Saw 2, and I didn't even notice that until you said that earlier. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, it was cool. It was a cool scene. It was effective enough. I just, again, I thought it was yet another dumb thing that Kirby did in this movie, and the list is compiling up pretty big. And then she actually.
Teenager.
And then this is the worst part, Birdie. And then this guru of horror movies, this professional stabathon viewer, she actually believed she won, and she went out there. She fell for this trap from stupid ass Charlie. Charlie outdid Kirby here. Charlie outsmarted Kirby. Let that marinate a little bit. The smarter character got outsmarted, and it's ridiculous. I don't like it at all. I don't think that's a good way to do her justice in this movie. The way that she got fooled like that, I thought it was pretty silly.
Well, she was in the moment, man, because she was going to get her woo on with Charlie, and she already saw Ghostface attack Charlie, so you could kind of understand that.
But she would know. She would know there'd be two killers. She's supposed to know all these things. She would know that.
But she's not Randy Meeks, though. She's just a little bit of a reincarnation of Randy.
That's for damn
she's
sure.
Not
That's
as
for
smart
damn
as,
sure.
But she's not as smart as Randy. So that, I totally understand her getting caught in that situation. And plus, can we just, again, this is unfortunately where it was revealed that Charlie was the first killer, stabbing our girl Kirby twice, everybody thinking she was dead. I've always believed, even the first time I watched it, I was like, dude, the rules of the movie is if you don't see the dead body, she's still alive. And guess what? All these years later, in your face, she lived, damn it.
And she's going to be the killer in Scream 6, I hope.
Oh my god.
But we'll get to that on Thursday.
We'll save those predictions on Thursday.
Yeah, man, I don't know. For all the comparisons she gets to Randy and being that new Randy character, she completely failed whenever it was her time to shine, in my opinion. But that's beside the point. There's more to talk about here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's more to talk about. So Kirby, we'll talk about more about you, girl, on Thursday, and for when we all see Screen 6. Love you, girl. Okay. So Charlie, so Sydney runs into freaking Charlie, and Sydney escapes, trying to run out the front door. You know how Final Girl's supposed to do it. But then Ghostface number 2 stabs Sydney in the gut, and we get the second reveal. Jill, what the hell, dude? This was a big shock to me at the theater because I thought they were saying Jill up to be kind of like the next Sydney in the new line of Scream movies, like to passing the torch. But man, not only she didn't grab a torch, she grabbed that freaking knife, man, and stabbed Sydney, man.
She sure did, man. She slayed her with it. They had this whole big reveal kind of thing. Again, Sydney kind of stands there and just watches it all kind of play out. And that goes on for some time. And this is the first time in the franchise where you get to the reveal and it just feels like Sydney, I don't know. It feels like she's just better than the killers and shouldn't really necessarily be in this situation. The killers don't feel like they're actually earning the ability to have this one up on Sydney at this point, in my opinion. But they're fine. I think this is right up there with Scream 5 for the worst killer reveal. The one and again, not that it's a horrible thing. It's not. Well, I like the first 3 a lot. It's not a horrible one, but 5 and 4 are definitely the weakest killer reveals in the franchise, in my opinion. Not horrible. Again, it's fine. It's decent, but it's still, when you compare it up to the rest of them, I think it's just weaker than some of the other ones.
Oh, sorry. Strong comment by Chris. Playing up to what you just said, Brad. The reveal can make or break the killers of a movie. That is the most true thing in this franchise I've ever read.
Very true. It's very true. And that's what really all
Mhm.
comes down to. It could completely change the landscape of it upon rewatches
Yeah,
and everything.
important fact they get the reveal right. Absolutely. And again, I hope in Scream 6 they can get it right. So I really hope so. But again, we'll save all those for Thursday. So yeah, we get the explanation that pretty much Jill wants to be the new Sydney. This is what it's always been about. Jill wants to be a star. Freaking fuck college. Just freaking internet fame, which is kind of funny now because pretty much what every freaking young person is doing now is trying to be famous on the internet. So I actually kind of funny how something that we are dealing with now was true, and Jill had the point of it in 2011.
She did. And you know what? The motivation was better than Scream 5 for sure. I mean, you see that that jealousy and all
I
that
will
stuff.
agree with you on that one.
You have that jealousy and stuff, and it's personal again. Sydney's definitely got a fucked up family. I mean, this shit runs through their
Yeah,
veins.
she
I mean, the
does.
brother, the cousin, everything. Nobody's sick. You have a brother.
Oh, you have one.
Honestly, I'm starting to think it's the Marine Prescott side of the family that just really doesn't do good things. I'm really thinking if
Mm-mm.
it weren't for Neil, Sydney would have never had a chance. But I think Neil is probably just that good of a dude that it turned her life around. I mean, you just think about it, because that's Marine's sister's daughter, Jill. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, something fucked up somewhere on that side of the family for sure.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
it's not a good family, man. Like, therapy cannot fix that shit. But what we can fix is trying to explain all like this whole immaculate plan about how they're trying to do a remake. So they're recreating the first movie, where Trevor's supposed to be Neil Prescott, while freaking oh no, I'm sorry, Trevor's supposed to be Billy Loomis, and then so that means there's two survivors, right? Wrong. Charlie is the Stu Mockner in this situation, while Jill is the Sydney in that situation. So that means Sydney has to die. So Jill gives Sydney one last good stab, and at that time, we think she's dead. But then we actually get one of the most batshit crazy things I've seen in a Scream movie: Jill freaking causing harm to herself.
she was, dude. She's thrown herself all around this room, into mirrors, thrown herself through tables, stabbed herself in the shoulder. It was entertaining. A lot about this reveal at the end, it did come across a little comedic in comparison to some of the other movies before it where this reveal was always so intense before. It was always a really tense moment, really like everything's coming together. From the moment Jill takes her mask off to the time she's throwing herself around the room, it's kind of makes you chuckle a few times, just the way she's talking about, like, oh, let's shoot this guy's dick off. Oh, he's dead. Don't fuck with me, and all this. Like, it's all kind of funny in a way. Like, in a sense, you don't really feel that tension that you felt in the first three movies, I don't think. But it's good. I like when she's throwing herself around the room. It's a little bit different.
Mhm.
She's, it's kind of funky, but it's like, it works for how crazy and how bonkers this character is going, and her charisma. I thought not Jenna Ortega,
Emma
damn,
Roberts.
Emma Roberts. Yeah, she had a lot of charisma here, and I thought she was actually pretty solid in this. As much as I don't
Mhm.
really, necessarily like this killer reveal, I thought she nailed her role in it.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I feel like this is where Emma Roberts earned her like you know, kind of like your round of applause. Like, okay, this was her like big moment in the entire movie. Is her and what makes me laugh every time is her running into the freaking picture frame and getting cut like glass, like like it kind of something you kind of see freaking Doofy doing in a freaking Scream movie. So we get all that. The police show up, seeing all the freaking chaos in the world, man, and we go to the hospital for the last time in this movie. But before that, was going to get Chris's earlier comment saying, notice there's a clue. Trevor is wearing the same jacket Neil Prescott wore in the first film. That's why I say Neil Prescott at first. A clue that he would have the same thing happen to him being held in the closet. Exactly. That's why I said Neil Prescott at first. But in Jill's plan, Trevor was the Billy Loomis of the scenario.
Yes, absolutely. And I like this comment from Chad too. I'm kicking my own ass.
That's pretty much what Jim was doing. Oh my god, I love Liar Liar.
Yeah, yeah, same. It's fantastic.
Oh
Do you
man, but
mind?
all right. let's get to the last bit of everything. And before we do that, if you have not voted in the poll, be sure to do that real quickly. So we are in the hospital. Jill is going over her whole life trauma, the situation, letting Dewey know exactly what happened, and saying all my friends died, which kind of pissed me off because Dewey didn't say that Kirby lived. So fuck you, Dewey, for not giving Jill that closure that Kirby is alive, or give us closure. We have to wait 11 years to realize or to know that Kirby lived. Like, damn you, Dewey. But anyways, Dewey does tell Jill that Sydney is alive, but just by a hair. And Jill is like, what? So yeah, she's alive, man. But you know what? You're gonna be okay. She goes, yeah, I will be okay. And I do like want to write a book with Gail about our matching wounds and all that. Which that's where she slipped because Cindy said earlier that they always slip, and that was her moment where she slipped. So Dewey's like, okay, I'll check on you later. She goes back, or Dewey goes back to Gail, and Jill takes off all of her shit to have one last confrontation with Sidney Prescott.
Yes, she does, man. She goes in there. She tries to slay her ass. And this is another part that freaking drove me nuts is that Dewey comes in here to save the day and he gets his ass beat by a fucking bedpan, dude. I was like, no, not Dewey, dude. Doofy Dewey is back, man. This version
That would have
Dewey,
been a shitty way to die.
Oh, dude, he does, man. He gets slayed by that damn thing. Not only did he freaking whiff on Ghostface earlier, now he's getting his ass beat by a damn pan. It's kind of like Vince McMahon whenever Stone Cold came in there with the fucking.
Oh my god!
Oh
my
man.
god.
Yeah, so that was silly, but yeah, she ends up getting kind of the one up on Sid, kind of gets her all bloodied up again, busts the stitch out. Judy Hicks comes in to save the day because she's about to get freaking Gail. She's got Gail at gunpoint. Judy comes flying in, gets Gail out of the picture. They go to the other side of the bed there, and then Judy gets shot in the chest. And we're like, oh no, not Judy. Oh no, because
I was quite glad actually.
I know she was not good in this movie, man. She was really kind of annoying. She was much improved in 5, I thought, but she was kind of crazy in this one. But yeah, that goes on, man. We find out that that Sid's working on those fucking the defibrillator thing over there, ready to getting the electricity amped up on that bad boy. And this is still as Jill's about to blow Gail away.
Blow her away.
Blow her away.
Yeah, but Gail is just like, okay, can I have the famous last word and all that? And Jill goes, what, please? And Gail's like, no, clear. Bam! Sydney gets freaking
bitch
Jill
went down.
Roberts good. Yeah, bam! Bitch went down. Bam! Sydney. Super bitch. Even though Jill in that movie did become the most electrifying Ghostface of all the franchise. That's what freaking happened, man. And then, of course, we get the most iconic line. One of the most iconic lines from Sydney ever in the franchise of, there's something you gotta know about or need to know about remakes. Don't fuck with the original. Or I'm paraphrasing. I know you on the thumbnail put the quote on there. But man, just to hear that quote of "Don't fuck with the original" was so damn great. And I bet you every horror fan loved to hear that line when it comes to the term of the remake. And then she checks on Gail, and then that's when, or Dewey, and that's when she goes, "They always come back." And then she turns around and shoots Jill. Jill goes down for good. And then Judy pops up again, and Gail's like, Judy, you're alive too? Or you lived? And then that's when Judy I thought she was going to flash everyone at first, but no, it was the Fez saying her famous line, where the Fez saves the chest. And she freaking just does her dramatic fall down. And then, that's pretty much the end right there. Wear the Fez, save your chest, as Brooks says, man. Yeah, then pretty much the movie ends. The end. That's the end of Scream 4.
Hell to the man. We made it to the end of that. I'm going to work on getting the scores calculated and everything. Yeah, and if you want to just kind of catch up with the chat, I know there's a lot of people in here chatting. If you want to talk with them for a second.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and address some of the chat right here. I want to get Chris's point because Chris brought this to my attention a long time ago, and I think this would be something cool for y'all to learn. Another cool thing to notice when Dewey tells tells Jill Sydney is still alive. If you listen real close, you can hear her heart rate rise on the monitor in that moment. Since Chris told me that, I've always noticed that in the movie. So, and I thought that was a great small touch to the movie of like Joe going like, what?
That is
So
pretty cool.
yeah, freaking great touch. And then, all right, let's get some. Brooke's favorite line is, "Don't fuck with the original." Chad says Sydney will forever be the best final girl in horror. Uh, right behind Aaron, my friend. So Chad, you were close. You were
It's hard
close.
to
Nah,
disagree with
man.
that, Chad. She's been the most consistent, I think. Seeing her come back to all these movies and always being really strong.
Yeah, I agree. I respect Sydney Prescott a lot. She's my number 2 final girl. I love Sydney. Sebastian says, yes, next to Danielle Harris for me. Sebastian saying Danielle Harris is the screen queen of all time. Not like you can't really that's hard to disagree with because again, what she's done with Jamie Lloyd and all that, really good stuff. So let's see here. What
I like
else do
this
we have here?
comment here, actually,
Uh,
because this is what I've been waiting for. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump your gun, Birdie, if you
no,
had
you're
something else.
good.
Originally, Jill was going to get away with it and carry on to the next one, but those original plans were scrapped. I'm curious to know where they would have gone. I've been waiting this whole time for the survivor killer to survive one of these movies and really start building up a little continuity and something you can actually build a sequel off of instead of starting from scratch every time.
Stu.
Get out of here,
Okay, we'll save that for Thursday. You know I had to say it though.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So Brad, did you
Yeah,
still
we're
need
all
more
good, man.
time?
No, we're all
Okay,
good.
we're all good. But before we reveal that, let's go ahead and deliver our final thoughts about this movie and our personal rating in this movie. So Brad, I'll let you go first. What are your overall thoughts and what would you rate this movie?
Yeah, I think of all the movies in the franchise, this one has, I'll say it's not necessarily the worst. I'm not going to make that proclamation, but I would say it's probably aged the worst with the lighting and all this weird stuff and the characters just not being that great. When you go back and look at it compared to even 5, which and this is nothing against Wes Craven, RIP, obviously he's the best, he's the GOAT. This movie just feels of all the movies in the franchise the most uninspired, the most irrelevant, honestly. You take this movie out, you're not really going to miss much. Nothing really of significance happens. I think if you went from Scream 3 to Scream 5, I can't think of anything that would really matter that much. I mean, other than Kirby being a character, nothing really stands out. Nothing. You could go from 3 to 5 and you wouldn't miss anything. At the end of the day, this movie doesn't feel needed when you're watching it. So it has those kind of issues going for it. And because of that, I don't find myself rewatching this movie all that often. But again, like I said earlier, it's fine. It's still a well-made movie, aside from the lighting issue and some of those things. It's still a well-made movie. It's still fun. It's still entertaining. It's enjoyable. And it's still very much a good movie. So I'd give it a 3.25 out of 5.
Damn. Okay. You know what? That's fair. That's a fair rating to give it. So I can't harp you on too much for that. But for me, man, I still like after all these years, I still enjoy the hell out of this movie. I plus I have a little bit of kind of like a soft spot for it. But I've seen it like this being my first Scream movie in the theater. One of my first horror movies I saw in the theater at the time too, where I was trying, gain my courage to go see horror movies in the theater. But I still have a good time with this. Yes, it absolutely has its problems. It is definitely possibly the most flawed movie within the franchise, but I still can't help but to love what they were trying to do with it. Just going based off the whole remake thing. And again, another reason why I love this movie so much. Freaking Kirby Reed. I love the character. I hope she gets a lot more to do in Scream 6. unfortunately, we did not get asked enough of her in Scream 4. But when she does get time to shine, she freaking knocks it out of the park, man. So with that in mind, I'm going to give Scream 4. Can't help it, man. I give it a 4 out of 5.
High
Yeah,
stacks from a
man.
high roller. Hell yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah, freaking rode the dice. So let's see here with the 4 with the 3.25. I believe that's a 3.5, Brad, right on the dot.
Yeah, it might actually be a 3 point, somewhere right there in the middle, right over a 3.5. But yeah, either
Yeah,
way,
but
it's
regardless, that is going to be a dance with freaking Jimbo. So Jimbo, get on that dance floor and make some moves.
hell to the yeah. Let's see what the fans thought about this movie. This is the moment we're all waiting for.
Yeah,
This is what we
that's
want to
who's
see.
really the most important.
We polled, I think, about 70 people once again, 70 horror fans for this movie on Killer Flicks, and of those 70-ish people who participated, 83% of horror fans like this movie, and you guys here tonight gave it a B minus average score on the letter grade, which is no, I
Nice.
think it's solid. That's definitely better than what we saw with Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't disagree with this. This is exactly what I would say. I would say about a B minus as well.
Yeah, and I'll go and let you know from my memory, this actually scores better than Scream 3. Because Scream 3 was a 75%, still around the B range with Scream. I think B plus,
That
but
was B
from a
minus as
horror
well.
fan perspective, they're preferring Scream 4 over Scream 3.
Yeah, that was also a B minus 2. Scream 3 was, so they had the same.
Oh, okay, nice.
Letter
So
grade.
again, freaking neck to neck, man.
Yeah, buddy, it's close, man.
Yeah, so real quickly, what do you guys are saying in the chat? I'm seeing some 4s out of 5s. Chris is a 4 out of 5. Sebastian is a 4.5 out of 5. Fauci, I saw, was a 3 out of 5. Aaron Click, a 4.25. I think I got you 4 out of 5 just in case. Ashton, 3.5 out of 5. So around that same ballpark that kind of like what the numbers pulled up. So you know what? Another very successful movie rating.
Absolutely, dude. Super successful, man. Thank you guys for being here for that and making that. Obviously, the more people here, the more people that vote. We had 26 votes tonight. The more accurate those numbers are going to be. So that's just awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and finish out the night with what's coming up on the channel. Because man, we got some good stuff coming up as per usual, guys. Sorry, deleting some of this stuff real quick. Be gone with you. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be releasing our Scream 4 Trivia Challenge. So far, some people have been really enjoying this series, so we're going to continue it for Scream 4 and end it with Scream 5 next week. So expect this video to drop sometime in the afternoon tomorrow. And then, Brad, what are we freaking doing on Thursday?
Dude, this Thursday, we're going to be talking about our predictions for Scream 6, 1 week out from the release on Thursday, and we're going to be talking about what we're going to think going in. We did this last year with Scream 5. It was a lot of fun, but Destiny's going to be joining us once again. So we're going to have a blast talking about that, and hopefully we can beat her in the predictions this time. But
man, we're going to do everything we can to beat her, man, just because like we got to beat her. We got to reclaim that crown, man.
Yeah, we do, man. We absolutely do.
Yeah, so that would be this Thursday at normal time of 8:00 Eastern time. We are so excited. And then lastly, I don't have a thumbnail for it yet, but Sunday it will be our last live interactive movie review for the Scream franchise at that time with Scream 5 before we get into all the madness that is Scream 6, which you could expect a spoiler-free review to drop and a live interactive review with all the spoilers, and that will be not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday, like the weekend that Scream 6 comes out. So we got the next week we are planning to do a Scream character tier ranking. So Brad kind of spoiled that little surprise for next week, but even though we were going to announce it anyway, but that is coming soon as well.
Yes, dude. And you know what? A couple other little things. Be on the lookout. Tomorrow's membership day, right? That's going to be dropping tomorrow, March the 1st.
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Oh, yeah. Today's the 28th. I'm sorry. Wednesday. Keep out keep a lookout for those memberships. They're going to be dropping. You can be a member as low as 99 cents a month. We're going to be getting some emojis and some
Say that
packages.
again?
Some emojis, little as 99 cents a
No,
month.
I mean, I'm talking about that price, man. Talking about the price.
You know what? You can be a member for as little as 99 cents a month. You can jump
Who
on
would
the
be
train.
idiots to offer such a deal?
These guys. We want to give people some emojis, man. So we're going to have those dropping for y'all and as some banners as well. So that'll be fun. And we'll have a couple other little options for you guys to be able to join, a little bit different options than the Patreon. That, if you guys take a look at it on
Want to
Wednesday, it'll be
join.
there. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly, man. So we're excited, and we got other things cooking up. As you saw on the scroll thing, we have a surprise to reveal on St. Patrick's Day. Man, is it going to be one of the biggest surprises with Good Will Hunting will ever reveal in its channel's history? So you pay attention to that very important special surprise announcement on St. Patty's Day. So again, great things coming up for the channel in the future, man. We got a very explosive March with the real March Madness tournament getting closer and closer. We're hoping to reveal the brackets soon for you guys so y'all can go ahead and fulfill your brackets and the mark it on your calendar for March the 31st for a one-stream tournament. That's going to be epic.
Yes, it is. Beyond epic proportions, you could say. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and close out. We appreciate everyone for joining us. And again, if you're watching after the fact, what did you think about Scream 4? Did you agree with the ratings by the horror fans? Let us know in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you want to help us find the good reels, as always, you can do so by finding our socials right down below in that description, as well as that Patreon down there as well. Check it out.
Absolutely. So, guys, we are going to go ahead and skedaddle. Go ahead and get some of your Scream 6 predictions ready for Thursday, and we will see you all Thursday.
Peace out. Goodbye, birdie.